Hey, what's up, Exiles? A couple weeks ago, I made a video on Alva Temple Farming and white maps. And since I recently just started Mirage League, I figured it would be a good time to revisit that strategy and see if it's still any good. Spoiler alert, it is, but I'll talk about that later in the video. The strat is pretty much the same. Running white maps, rushing the incursions, optionally killing the map boss, using an incursion Scarab of timelines when you have a valuable room in your temple layout. If you don't know what it does, it basically just gives you a free temple with the current layout, just with randomized room tiers. That list tree is still the same. You want to take these two notables here, as well as enough of these small Alva chance nodes to guarantee her every map, and maps to say nodes if you have extra points. You still want to get Locus of Corruption, you still want to get Doriani's Institute, nothing has really changed on that front. But, if you are new to temple farming, haven't seen it before, I'll do a quick map showcase so you can see how it works. First things first, we need to check if we have a good room in our temple. And since we don't, we're just going to run the map without a Scarab. Like I said before, all we're going to be doing is just rushing the incursions. Alright, and that's it for the demonstration. Like I said earlier, the strat is basically the same as it was in the video I made before. But that's not what I was curious about. I kind of knew all that was going to be the same. What I was mostly interested in was, is it still a good moneymaker? Can you still turn a decent profit with Alva? Let's talk about that. So for this test, I did 100 maps. During the test, I used 71 incursion Scarab of timelines, and at time of recording, these Scarabs are 5C each, so 355C there. The div ratio is currently 390, so we'll just call it 1 div. As for the temples I got, I ended up with 24 Locus of Corruption, currently 590C, 26 Doriani's Institute, currently 180C, and 10 with both, which are currently 600C. Total that comes out to 24,840C, which at the current div ratio of 390 comes out to roughly 62 div after factoring in my costs. Now, I was probably running these maps in about a minute and a half or so on average, but just to be safe, I'm going to call it 2 minutes per map. Total of 200 minutes to run 100 maps, which is around 3.3 hours, which means that during this test, I was making just shy of 19 div per hour. I would say that is a pretty respectable number considering how accessible the strategy is. And so to answer the question, is Alva still a good moneymaker? I would say so. Now, one thing you might be wondering is, did you get lucky? 60 temples kind of seems like a lot since the Scarab is a 1 in 3. And you'd be right, if the Scarab was always a 1 in 3. In reality, the Scarab does a lot better than 1 in 3. This is due to things like having both Corruption Chamber and Gem Cutter's Workshop in the same layout, which bumps you up to a 2 in 3 chance for a good temple from the Scarab. Or having Corruption Chamber connected to a Shrine of Empowerment, which can boost the odds of a Locus of Corruption from the Scarab to up to 2 in 3. Or having both scenarios, which boosts the odds of a good temple even further. These things happen pretty often, which makes the incursion Scarab of timelines a lot better than you might initially think. On top of that, the chance of getting a good temple from Alva herself is also pretty high. Before I end the video, I also wanted to share a quick tip that will increase your odds of getting good temples. you really want to avoid making connections between rooms for no reason. It's a little difficult to explain this without a visual, so I'll use this temple as an example. In this temple, there is no reason to make connections anywhere until you get a good room. The reason for that is that any of these unconnected rooms can just be connected to the main path when you happen to get a good room. By adding unnecessary connections, you make it so that you potentially lose value on any Shrine of Empowerment you get in the future. As an example here, let's say that you get Chasm as one of your incursions, and you connect it to Poison Garden. You then get Poison Garden and change it to Shrine of Empowerment, and then you get Flame Workshop and change it to Corruption Chamber. If you did not make that connection, then the new Tier 2 Shrine of Empowerment would be guaranteed to upgrade the new Tier 2 Corruption Chamber, which would turn it directly into a Locus of Corruption. Whereas if you do make that connection, all of a sudden it's a 2 and 3 instead. Now, this might not seem like a big deal at first, until you remember that it also makes every Scarab you use for this temple layout less effective as well, since the Shrine of Empowerment Tier 1 and Tier 2 have a lower chance of picking the Corruption Chamber to upgrade. So you're not potentially missing out on just one temple, you're potentially missing out on multiple. Additionally, making these types of connections doesn't even add any value, so there's no reason to do it in the first place. Like, you're not losing out on anything by not making these connections. Now, I hope I did a good job of explaining this concept because I do think it is important for maximizing the value you get from temples. Alright, so now, closing thoughts. Overall, I think that temple farming is still pretty much the best late league start strat in the game. It's cheap, it's easy, self-sustains maps, doesn't need that many Atlas points, and the temples are extremely easy to sell. It also doesn't need a strong character to do. Honestly, in a late league start scenario, I don't think it gets much better than that. Anyways, that's it for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I will do my best to answer. And with that, thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.